Hello drama lovers. Breaking news. What happens when months of whispers, hidden glances, and undeniable chemistry finally explode into reality? Fans are still reeling because Zhang Linghe has just admitted what everyone secretly hoped was true: his feelings for Zhao Jinmei. This isn't just another rumor. This is a confession that has shaken the entire fandom to its core. And once you hear his words, you'll never look at their story the same way again. From the very beginning, Zhang Linghe and Zhao Jinmei's chemistry was impossible to ignore. It started on set, those fleeting moments when their eyes lingered a little too long, when laughter seemed to flow effortlessly between them. Fans noticed, of course. The internet lit up with slow-motion edits, side-by-side comparisons, and endless threads dissecting every smile, every accidental touch. But while the fandom built entire fairy tales around their interactions, both Linghe and Jinmei remained silent. They gave professional answers, always respectful, always guarded. Jinmei, known for her elegance and youthful grace, would smile politely when asked. Linghe, ever the gentleman, would deflect questions with careful humor. Their silence only fueled the fire. Behind the scenes, however, insiders whispered about the bond the two shared. Crew members spoke of how they seemed inseparable during breaks, how their conversations stretched long into the night. Some even described them as each other's safe space amidst the chaos of the industry. But still nothing was confirmed. And then came the interview. It was supposed to be ordinary, another promotional event, another routine set of questions. But when Linghe was asked about the most meaningful connection he'd made recently, his guard slipped. He didn't use her name at first. Instead, he described someone who makes every day feel lighter, someone who understands silence better than words. His voice softened, almost trembling. And then, as if realizing there was no turning back, he said it. It's Zhao Jinmei. The room went still. The interviewer's eyes widened. Fans watching the live stream collectively gasped. And in that moment, the boundary between idol and human shattered. Linghe wasn't the actor anymore. He was a man, confessing the kind of truth that changes everything. And yet, what made the moment even more powerful wasn't just his words but the way he said them. His voice wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't polished. It was raw, filled with hesitation and courage all at once. Fans described it as a confession that felt both fragile and unshakable, like holding a delicate flame in the palm of your hand. The fandom erupted. Within minutes, hashtags like Zhang Linghe confession and Linghe Jinmei exploded across Weibo, Twitter, and TikTok. Edits of his words spread like wildfire, reaching millions in hours. Some fans cried openly on live streams, overwhelmed that what they had believed in for so long was finally spoken out loud. Others debated what it meant for Jinmei, whether she would respond, whether this was the start of something bigger. But what mattered most was this: Zhang Linghe had chosen honesty. And in an industry where every word is measured, that honesty felt revolutionary. As the dust settled, the question remained, what would Zhao Jinmei say? Zhao Jinmei has always been admired for her composure. Even as one of the brightest rising stars of her generation, she has carried herself with a maturity beyond her years. Which is why the world waited, breathless, for her response. At first, she said nothing. Her social media remained unchanged, her public appearances unshaken. But those who looked closely noticed something different. In her recent fan meeting, when asked about friendship turning into something more, she laughed softly, almost nervously, and admitted that sometimes, people who understand you the most are the ones you never expected. The room erupted in screams. Fans took it as a sign, dissecting every syllable, every sparkle in her eyes. Clips of her smile that night trended for days. Was it coincidence, or was it Jin Mei's way of acknowledging Ling He's courage without words? Meanwhile, the fandom divided into two emotional camps: those who demanded an official statement and those who wanted to protect their privacy at all costs. But underneath all the noise, one truth was undeniable: their bond was real. Industry insiders began to reveal more. Staff members recalled how Ling He always looked out for Jin Mei on set, how he'd shield her from the cold, how his laughter always seemed louder when she was around. Jin Mei, in turn, would share her snacks with him, tease him gently when he got too serious, and smile in ways she rarely did with others. Their connection wasn't just professional, it was personal. And fans, whether supportive or skeptical, couldn't look away. The cultural impact was massive. In China and across Asia, entertainment outlets ran headlines like "A real-life drama unfolds and John Ling He's brave confession stuns the industry." In Korea, K-drama communities picked up the story, comparing it to iconic on-screen couples whose love spilled into real life. International fans flooded TikTok with edits, pairing Ling He's words with Jin Mei's reactions, creating cinematic mini-stories that only fueled the frenzy. And still, one question burned hotter than ever: was this a love story just beginning, or a fragile dream at risk of being crushed under the weight of fame? To understand the weight of this confession, you need to see it from their perspective. Both John Ling He and Zhao Jinmei live under the constant gaze of millions. Every move they make is analyzed, criticized, celebrated. For an actor at Ling He's level to admit such raw emotions, it wasn't just romantic. It was an act of rebellion against an industry that values perfection over truth. For Jin Mei, the stakes are just as high. As one of the youngest talents with a career still soaring, any misstep could be magnified. Choosing how to respond isn't just about her heart, it's about her future. And yet, her quiet smiles, her unspoken hints, suggest that she may not be running from this. What makes this story so deeply emotional isn't just the potential romance. It's the courage, the willingness to be vulnerable in front of the world. For fans, it feels like living inside a drama, except this time, the script isn't written. Every moment is real, unedited, unpredictable.